of the world, now I'm living. And the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah.
Hey, it's Ann Perry, and I just want to welcome you today. Today's topic of discussion is something that I haven't covered before, and I think there's a lot of you who might be really eager to grasp some of this information. So let's get going, shall we? Today's topic of discussion is just knowing which personal year that you're in is not enough. There's so much more to know to be able to really embrace the personal year that you're traveling through. So we're going to be talking about that today. So a lot of people talk about what's called an epicycle. What exactly is an epicycle? Well, numerologists will describe an epicycle as a 9-year cycle where each year produces a new vibration and a new predictable characteristic or outcome around it. So each year that you're in from 1 to 9 will have a very unique vibration to it, and it will really influence how it is you travel through that personal year. So obviously the first question is, how do we determine our personal year? I'm glad you asked. Step one. Step one is to determine what universal year are you presently in. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at 2016 because that's when I'm recording this video. And we look at 2016, like always, we break it down. So 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 6 equals 9. So 2016 is actually what we refer to as a 9 universal year. So before you can figure out what your personal year is, you need to know what the universal year is. So it's kind of a neat tool because if you're thinking back to, say, I don't know, 2004, and you're wondering, well, what the heck was that year all about? Because you can remember that that was a hellish kind of a year, and you had a really rough go, or whatever happened in 2004. So all you're going to do is add 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 4 equals 6. So that's the 6th universal year. Okay, so now step 2, we're going to add your birth month to the birth day and then to the universal year. So this is how this is going to look. Now let's take a look at the date of birth of March 25th. So March equals the 3rd month, okay? So we're looking over here at March equals the 3rd month. So we break that down as just a single digit of the number 3. Over here we have the 25th day, so we're going to break that down as 2 plus 5 equals 7. And 2016, as we already know, is 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 6 equals 9. So we look at this and we go, okay, so we bring that March down as a 3, the 25th day is coming down as a 7, and 2016 is coming as a 9, and we're going to add all 3 of those digits together. So when we add 3 plus 7 plus 9, it comes to 19. So 1 plus 9 equals 10. Then we're going to reduce it again. 1 plus 0 equals 1. So this person who was born on March 25th is in a 1 personal year. Okay, so let's take a look at how this rolls out in a 9-year cycle. If, for example, you happen to be in a year of 1, this would be up here, a year of new beginnings. This would be a year that would be all about you being number 1. And that's not to say that you don't care about someone else or anyone else around you. It just means that the ambition that you have this year is going to be all about you being number 1. The universe knows that you're in a year of 1, and they give you all kinds of mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical energy, tons of energy to get the job done. So what happens is, in a year of 1, or any year for that matter, in January, because all these years begin January 1st, you get a full cup of whatever that energy is. So you get this full cup, in this particular case, if you're in a year of 1, you get a full cup of 1 energy. And for every day that goes by, we get a little blast of that 1 energy. Get going, come on, start something new, you know, and the universe is kind of encouraging you to get something going. By the time you get to about October, November, in around that time frame, in the fall, you're starting to feel a little bit of a shift because the energy of whatever your personal year is, let's say it was a year of 1, so it's starting to go away. It's starting to reduce because the cup is almost empty. So what happens is the energy of the next coming year, in this particular case it would be a year of 2, starts coming in up over that threshold and gets your feet wet. With what you can anticipate to be feeling in the year of 2. So in the fall, you start feeling that shift. You're still in the year of 1. You've still got the opportunity to get new things going, but it just means that the energy of the 2 is starting to come in. Now, the universe is kind of funny because they give you one thing one year and they take it away the next. So in the year of 1, you can expect to get lots of really great energy. It's go time is what I call it. But as we start transitioning into the year of 2, all of a sudden you start getting really tired. And those of you who are really driven, type A kind of people, might have a hard time with that personal year of 2 because you start feeling really tired. But you know what? You have to rest in the year of 2. You planted seeds up here in your year of 1. Okay, metaphorically, you dug up the ground, you planted the seeds, you started new things. When we move into that year of 2 in the next year, we start feeling a little bit tired because the universe said, okay, it's time for you to get in your timeout chair. This is not an active year. This is not a year for, get her done kind of thing. This is the kind of year where we want you just to sit back and nurture what you planted. Just watch it grow a little bit. This is a year, when you're in a year of 2, you plan on spending time with one of 2 people. Okay, so that could be you and a partner. It could be you and your husband, your wife, your daughter, whatever. There'd be a lot of one-on-one kind of relationships. You don't feel particularly social in a year of 3. You're a bit of a couch potato, actually. You sort of want to just kind of hang out quietly because you really don't feel like going out. But that's okay, because once we come into the fall, remember that shift happens in the fall, the energy of the 3 starts coming in. And guess what? That energy of the 3 people makes the crowd, right? So we're going to invite 3 people in. That's going to be a social side. So when we come into our year of 3, which is down here, it's going to be a very creative time. It's going to be a time when you're going to feel more social. Sure, let's go out. Sure, let's have some friends in. It's all good, right? But what's happening in that year of 3 is the universe is downloading all kinds of really great ideas. Oh, wow, I could do this. I could do that. Oh, that'd be really cool. So, the universe is just downloading with all kinds of really neat opportunities to think about. And so what happens is you lose your focus in a year of 3. It's not a really great year for focus because you're too busy having a good time, partying and socializing and just taking it all in because the universe is really filling you up with all kinds of really neat ideas. So when you come out of that 3 year and you start transitioning into the fall, transitioning into that next year of the 4, you start feeling like, wow, you know what? I kind of socialized an awful lot, partied a lot, maybe a lot, and I wasn't very focused about getting anything done. This year, boys, I got to, get to work, because as I move into my year of 4, the 4 is going to be about focus. It's going to be about discipline. When you think about the number 4, you think about building a house, okay? So when you're putting 4 posts into the ground, building a new house, what are you starting to build? Foundation, right? You're building a foundation. So the foundation is the 4 posts in the ground. It's all about setting something up really meaningful for yourself. So in that year of 4, you can focus on anything you want. But you know what? I'll let you know a little secret here. This is an important secret because if you're going into a year of 4, you really need to know this. When we come into the year of 4, it is totally natural for us to get a little too hung up on our limitations. We get way too focused on, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough money. I don't have support. I don't have the education, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you get a little too hung up on all the things that aren't just so, they're just not so right for you. So what ends up happening is you get focused on your limitations and you end up feeling stuck. Now, if you are aware that you're going into the personal year of 4 and you are personally aware that this is how you're likely going to feel, then you can take action steps necessary with which to flip that around. As soon as you hear yourself saying, hey, I don't have enough time for that, then you've got to say, but you know what, I do have time for this. And I don't have enough money for that. But I do have enough money for this, right? So you got to flip it around just like that, really quick. Nip it in the bud, because you know what? You've only got one kick of the cat once in 9 years to have the amazing ability to hyper-focus on anything you want. And guess what? Anything you give your energy, attention, and focus to is going to get bigger. So you need to make the year of 4 count. You can't stop and have a pity party in your year of 4. You're wasting time. This is a great productive year. As you move into your year of 5, where the year of 4 you were kind of holding your money a little close. Maybe you were, maybe you're holding on to your money a little too closely in the year of 4 for fear that you didn't have enough. So what happens is you start transitioning into that 5 year, and the theme of the year of 5 is all about freedom. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, I think I can trust the universe to provide again this year because I was feeling like I didn't have a whole lot going on last year. So you feel like you can spend a little bit more money, you can take a few more chances. The thing with the year of 5 that's kind of neat is that it's all about your freedom It's all about change and unexpected events. I call this the year of I did not see that coming moment. So, of course, that can be good and that can be a little challenging too, but at the end of the day, the 5 is always going to be about change. When we transition into our year of 6, the 6 is kind of an interesting year. The 6 says it's all about domestic drama. Okay, now maybe I should rephrase that and call it domestic focus. But the reality of it is there's always going to be somebody in a personal year of 6 who is vying for your attention. Maybe it's a mom that's not doing so well. Maybe you have a sibling who's going through a challenging time. But it's always going to be a focus on the home. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a focus on the emotional side of things, with regards to relationships. It can also be with regards to the physical dwelling. You might be saying, you know what, this house is just too big for us, or it's too small for us, or we just can't live here anymore for whatever reason. We have to move. So now we have to give consideration to where else are we going to live. So that's a domestic focus. The other thing that happens in a personal year of 6 is that you start learning the lessons around responsibility. How much of this, with regards to my home and my family, is really my responsibility? And how much of it isn't? And it's about learning balance, because everybody wants a piece of you when you're in a personal year of 6. I'm sure if if you're in a personal year of 6 right now, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody wants a piece of you. You'll go to work and it's like, great, I'm at work and I'm bringing home an income and everything's great, but my family really needs me, so I better go home. So you get home, it's like, great, I'm helping out my family. This is great, but I really need to be back at work, You're stretched in 2 different directions. When we move into our year of 7, the year of 7 is kind of an interesting year, because the year of 7 is a year of reflection and introspection. And it's a year when you go, okay, stop, wait, you know what? I'm all done with this right now. You know what? You all wanted a piece of me last year. This year, I'm going to my cave and I'm going to figure out what I want, because I was there for all of you and I juggled everything for you guys. But this year, guess what? I'm not going to be as available for you. I'm not going to feel like hanging out with you. I'm going to feel like hanging out with me. And I'm going to figure out what the heck do I want, because I'm going to reflect upon the last 6 years. Okay? Am I still on target for the goals that I set for myself? Do I need to reorganize that a little bit? Do I need to revisit where I'm traveling to? Okay? That's your year of 7. In the fall of your year of 7, your interest in getting something done and starting to move forward in a different direction starts coming in, because in the year of 7, it's not really an action year. It's a thinking year. It's about what next? What do I really want? It's asking yourself a lot of the hard questions. So when we get into our year of 8, we're going to put some dollar signs around that one, because the year of 8 is all about your money. Should I buy? Do I sell? Do I invest? Do I need to get a second job? Should I go for a raise? Maybe I should just be self-employed. All of it relates to your money. Okay? And it also relates to your power. How much power do you have? How much authority do you have? How many times have you let people stomp on you like a bug? It's a year that you might be looking at and saying, you know what? I'm not really happy with what's going on in my life. Maybe I need to look at how I've created that, because we are creators of our lives, right? So maybe I should consider, how have I been teaching people how to treat me that has resulted in this outcome in my life? Why do I have as little as what I have? Is it because I don't feel I'm worthy enough? Is it because I keep telling my boss that it's okay to pay me, $8 an hour when I know I'm worth 25? That can happen. So it's a year when you're really going to examine, what am I worth? So when we move into our year of 9, the year of 9, I love the year of 9. The year of 9 is like the yard sale of your life, because it's a year of endings, making room for new beginnings. Because remember, this is a cycle that we're working with, right? So the year of 9 is about endings. It's about releasing. It's about letting go. It's about looking in your closet and saying, you know what? I haven't worn that in 6 years. I got to get rid of that. It's learning what you can do without. I always say that you got all kinds of junk in your trunk, and you really realize that when you're in a personal year of 9. And if you know that you're going to be traveling into a personal year of 1, which is all about new beginnings, I don't know about you, but I want to travel light, because I want to fly in my new year of new beginnings. So I want to empty that junk in my trunk. So I'm going to look at everything I need to get rid of in the year of 9 so I can move forward freely in my year of 1. Now, what does that mean? Well, it can mean relationships too. It's possible that maybe you've been dragging along some friends that you've kind of outgrown. You've been developing and reaching out and learning more about yourself and discovering who you are as a spiritual person, and all other aspects of your life. And all of a sudden you look at this friend and going, you know what? They don't quite fit anymore. So some people make the necessary steps to kind of gently start releasing themselves from that relationship. They spend a little bit less time with those people because they really don't want to drag that energy with them into the year of 1. You need to send the message out to the universe, I'm ready for something new. And so what you do is you start removing things from your life so that your cup is available and open and ready to receive yet again. So I always say, you know, this is my desk. And if I take my desk out of here, it leaves room for a new desk. But if I choose not to put a new desk in here, it leaves a space. And if it leaves a space, it leaves room for an opportunity, because everything is made of energy, right? Every personal year that we're in is made of energy. And I think you can see now there's a theme for each one of these personal years. Okay, let's move on from here. So there are other aspects. The topic here today is that just knowing your personal year is not enough to really be able to grasp what you're going to be doing in that personal year. So some people might say, you know what, I'm having a really great year. There's a reason for that, right? You might be saying, you know, I'm having a really challenging year. There's another reason for that too. And it can all be related to the transits and the essences that are evident in your birth code, okay? Now these are, transits and essences are actually medium-term cycles that describe probable events or trends of events that happen during your personal year. So when we look back here, this is what I refer to as like a black and white template, because you know what? If I'm in a year of 1 and you're in a year of 1, guess what? We're both in a year of new beginnings. We're both going to have a little bit of energy going on. We're both going to be able to say we want to get something started. Now, does that mean to say that we can't start something new somewhere else? No, of course not. It just means it's going to be easier, you know? Over here is the year 2. Is that going to be a year that I'll only be able to spend time one-on-one? Will I not be able to do the group dynamic? No, of course not. It's just easier to do one-on-one than it is to do the group dynamic. Likewise, if you're in a group dynamic year of the 3, you're still going to be able to work at, you know, one-on-one relationships. But isn't it nice to know the benefit of what the universe is giving you? And you can harness it. You know, if you know what the year is giving you, you can harness it. So I want you to think about this whole template now as a black and white template, okay? It's the same for you as it is for me. Now, as we look at the medium-term cycles, these cycles are derived from your birth name. They're the only medium-term cycle, actually the only cycle in a numerology chart that is derived from your birth name. And it relates to your personal life, your professional life, friendships, romance, marriage, families, travel, health, everything, anything that you can be experiencing in a personal year. This is like the color, the paint color, if you will, that we're going to infuse into that black and white template, which is the Epicycle. So let's see what that looks like. All right, on a numerology chart, this is what this might look like, okay? Say, for example, you were born in 1960. So your age from 0 to 1 in 1960 is reflected right here. So now this person's name is Sue Ann Dunn. Okay, so you can see S is the first letter, A is the first letter of Ann, and D is the first letter of, first letter of the last name. So we've got the first name, F for the first name, M for the middle name, and L for the last name. So this relates to the letter transit. Okay, so now as we look at the S, when we come over here to this chart here, we see that the S vibrates at the number 1. So it's only going to repeat itself in the transit once, okay? The next letter in her name is the letter U. Okay, so let's look over here, and U vibrates at the 3. So we know that it's going to repeat itself 3 times, okay? So 1, 2, and 3. The third letter is an E. So we look over here and we see, okay, E vibrates to a 5. So we know the E has to repeat itself 5 times. See that? It repeats 5 times, and then we start again. And we keep on going through the years, as you can see. Each year it changes. So when we get into the middle name, A vibrates to the 1, so we're only going to see that once. And the letter N vibrates 5 times, okay? So it's the vibration of 5. So you can see the letter N, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's a second N, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in 1971, it's going to repeat itself, okay? Her last name is Dunn, so D, we come over here, that vibrates at the 4, okay? So we're going to see 4 Ds. And then the U, you might remember the U vibrates at the 3, so we'll see the U goes 3 times. And then Dunn, that's 5 energy, so we've got 5 down here. there's two ends, sorry, and then another 5. So we'll have 10 ends running down here. Okay, so what we do, we're going to record those numbers across here. So the S vibrates at a 1, the A vibrates at a 1, and the D vibrates at a 4. So when we add 1 plus 1 plus 4, it equals 6. Okay, so for 1960, from the age of 0 to 1, the essence that this person was going through is a 6. Okay, now in 1961, from age 1 to 2, the U brought in the 3 energy, the N brought in the 5 energy, and the D brought in the 4 energy. So that equals 12, and 1 and 2 is 3. So we know that that person had a 3 essence going on. And likewise, because the letters are going to repeat themselves, it's the same all the way down here until we get to here in 1964, and it starts to change again. So the essence, you can see, changed from a 12-3 to a 13-4. Okay? So you can see this is a pretty timely process to figure it all out. And I don't expect that a whole lot of you are actually going to be doing this, but I wanted to let you know that if you do pursue a professional numerology reading, a numerologist is going to offer this to you. And I, for one, when I look at your numerology chart, it's one of the first things I look at. What personal year are they in? Okay, which is pretty standard, as we looked at that template, 1 to 9. What's happening personally for them? What makes their year of 2 a little different than, say, my year of 2? You see, the name on your birth certificate produces your essence. So I could be in year of 1 and you could be in year of 1, but you know what? You're going to travel through that year of 1 very differently than I am, because your name on your birth certificate is very different than mine, and that produces the essence. So it's really important. It's not enough to know just what personal year are you in. How are you going to travel through that year? Your life path number, which is derived from your date of birth, also has some bearing on it as well. For example, my life path number is a 7. So I know that when I go through a personal year of 7, it's going to be more challenging for me than, say, a year of 2. Why is that? Because 7s are head cases. We overthink everything, right? We tend to get a little withdrawn. We like to spend time by ourselves. So when we get into the energy of the 7 personal year, that becomes even more intense, okay? So it's a whole big picture. There's all kinds of pieces of the puzzle that we have to look at to find out how you're actually going to transition through your year. There's so many things. There's so many elements that I can look at to help you understand how you're going to go through your year. And ultimately, what's important here is understanding, how do I embrace that? You know, how do I get the best out of the year? Well, let's take a look at this. Okay, so what you're looking at here is my birth chart. I was born on March 25th of 1959, and my birth name was Anne Louise Drummond. I currently go by Anne Perry. So I wanted to show you just how this plays out. In 2012, I was in a 6 personal year. Now, you might remember that a 6 personal year is the year of a little bit of domestic drama going on. So without going into too much, I'll tell you that it was a pretty stressful year. I was doing a lot of traveling. There was a lot of demands put on me with regards to my family. My son was getting married out of the country. There was a lot going on. Plus, I was starting my business, and I was trying to get that established. So what was going on then? The 6 tells me there's a bit of domestic drama going on, but that essence of 13-4 tells me that I'm going to be working really hard to build a foundation, and I have to do everything I can to focus on that, because the 3 over here tells me that I'm not going to be overly focused. Okay, the 1 is getting in touch with my creative potential and my confidence to get the job done. So that was 2012. Now, in comes 2013. 2013 was a 7 personal year, and as I just shared with you, for somebody whose life path number is a 7, like mine, the 7 personal year can be a little bit challenging because it throws you inward and causes you to ask a lot more questions than we already do. Okay? Now, the essence will always begin on your date of birth. The personal year begins in January. Okay? So if your essence is going to change, it will change on your birthday. So we can see here that in 2013, I was in a personal year of 7, and I was finishing up that 13-4 essence that had carried through from over here. Actually, it started in 2011, but you can't see that here. So I had 13-4 essence all the way through my personal year of 6, but it changed. In March, it changed to an 11 essence. Now, me as a numerologist, I would look at that and go, red flag, okay? Red flag, something big's going to happen. When we see the 11 essence there, that is all about illumination. And when I see it only for 12 months, which is the case here, see, I changed again down here into an 8 essence on my birthday. So I only had that for 12 months. So I know that the universe is coming in with a bat, and they're going to go, bam, and they're going to hit me hard. And what happens is when you have an 11 essence, and you don't see it that often on a chart, but it is, you know, it's reasonably frequent. It's also a time when a lot of people contact me because they don't know what the heck's going on. But, you know, the 11 essence is when the universe comes in and rips off the blanket and says, okay, you know what? You have got to look around. You have to face whatever it is that you have not been looking at. You have to see the reality of it. It's all about illumination. Now, the 7 relates to your spiritual development as well. So I knew that when I was going to be in my personal year of 7, that I was going to have a huge awakening in terms of me as a spiritual person in that year. And boy, did I ever. The 11 essence causes you to see things that you are not willing to see. I was married for 27 years. And was I happy? I wasn't unhappy. But I wasn't, you know, I just kind of thought, well, this must be what marriage is like, right? I don't know. But I left my husband in that year. Very soon. As soon as that 11-2 essence hit, I basically woke up, looked around and went, oh my goodness, I can't stay here. This is not a good, healthy relationship for me. I knew it all along, but I wasn't willing to face it until the universe went, boop, there's your spotlight, there's your headlight, there's your 20/20 vision, not only in the front of your head, but the side of your head, the top of your head, the back of your head. You can see everything in perspective. You see everything for what it is. So a lot of people can make some really large adjustments in their life when they come into this 11-2 essence. When I was done with my 11 essence, you can see it's here. It changed to an 8 essence on March 25th, on my birthday. See how that turned to the 8 from the 11? So this means that I was in an 8 personal year, and you might remember the 8's all about your money, and an 8 essence. Well, I was going, woohoo, you know, 8 on 8. That's going to be a great year financially. You know what? I came to find out that over several years, I was not aware that my income tax was not being recorded properly. There were all kinds of things going on that I had assigned to a bookkeeper / accountant who had really let me down. So that all came to fruition. Once again, illumination, right? I still had a little bit of illumination energy sitting here, which went, wow, take a look at your finances. So was it a good year financially? Not in terms of income coming in. There was a lot of income going out to correct the problem, and I took care of it all in that year. But it set me up really well, because if I hadn't discovered that, then it would have been a few years later, and it could have been a lot worse. So you can see how the universe helps you out. Now, coming into the year of 2015, that was a 9 personal year. That was a year of endings. Again, it was about the 8. And the 8 related to how I was earning my money. Okay, so a lot changed that year in regards to how I was earning my money. The 8 energy is about the money. The 9 is all about endings and letting go and releasing. So it comes into the 3, which is all about creative expression. And it's when I started my YouTube channel. I started doing a lot of public speaking and whatnot, because the 3 is all about creative expression. And when we came into 2016, that's a 1 personal year. I still have some creative expression there. Again, that was only there for a year, so I had to really work hard. I recognized that I had 1 year to really establish myself. And now, currently, I'm in a 6 personal essence, okay? So the 6 personal essence is relating to my family, where I'm feeling a real pull to be at home. I geographically live quite a distance from my family, and my mom is aging and not doing well. So I know that that 6 essence is around her health and my need to be with her. It's also, the 1 is all about new beginnings, and I've established a brand new relationship with my mom this year. So that's kind of helpful to know too. So I just wanted to point that out. This isn't to make it about me by any stretch. I didn't want to bore you with all those details, but I want to show you just how it plays out. And the only way I know how to do that is to share life on my, right off my sleeve. So forgive me if I go on too long about myself, but that's how I teach, and to keep it real. And that's exactly how this folds out. Now, tips to remember. You always need to calculate your universal year first. Remember, you've got to add that, whatever year you're interested in, to find out what personal year you're in or were in. You need to add that year together. So 2016, we add that together. 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 6 equals 9. Add your month and your day. With regards to master numbers, you can reduce them in this case. So 11s and 22s, if you were born in November, that's a 2. If you were born on the 22nd day, that's going to be a 4. Because 1 and 1 are 2, and 2 and 2 are 4. Always reduce the double digits to single ones. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for entertaining me today and stopping by. I hope that I've helped you to understand that it really is so much more involved than knowing just what your personal year is. If you'd like to explore your chart a little bit further, I welcome you to get in touch with me. We can set up a time to do a reading over Skype or over the phone, or just I can send out a written chart to you, whichever makes you most comfortable, but I'd love to connect with you. And check out my website. It's www.AnnPerryNumerologist.com. I'm also on Facebook, Ann Perry Professional Numerologist. Thank you so much. I'm hoping you're having a great day. Take care, everybody. Until next time.